Moving on to my first trend, that's checking out another very interesting game for this week. One we'll actually spend two trends on. That's checking out the New Orleans Saints hosting the Detroit Lions. When we look at this game, it's pretty obvious why it'd have high ownership. The Saints defense not so hot, the Lions defense pretty much in the same realm. But the thing about this is the Saints rush defense is getting a lot better. And that's the subject of my first trend, looking at their rush defense. If we split up their season into two halves, we had the first 7 games, and then the most recent 4. Why we're splitting it there is that's when they got their first-round pick, defensive tackle Sheldon Rankins. He came off of injured reserve at that time, and he's made a big difference. In those first 7 games of the year, running backs had a 41.4% success rate against the Saints. League average is 40%, so it was above average, not, a huge amount, but because they were seeing so much volume, they were able to kind of just shred the Saints. But in the 4 games since then, with defensive tackle Sheldon Rankins in there, that has fallen to 27.5%. So basically what this means is the Saints are turning into what Adam Levitan calls a funnel defense. It's a pretty broadly used term now, but what that means is that because teams can't run the ball efficiently against the Saints, they're forced to air it out, which gives additional volume to the passing offense. If we look at what teams have done against the Saints the past 4 games, they're averaging 79 rushing yards per game. Over that span, it was 111 heading into that. And opposing quarterbacks have averaged 36 attempts per game coming into this one. And that includes guys like Jared Goff, these low-volume passers. Cam Newton's generally in that range as well. And Matt Stafford is not in that same dimension. He's averaging 36 attempts per game this season. So we're looking at a scenario where I think the baseline for attempts for Stafford is around 40 attempts. Given the Saints' defensive issues, that could be a bit of an issue. They've only faced one top 20 passing offense since their bye in Week 5, and the Lions are 7th. So this is the best passing offense that the Saints will have faced since Week 3. That was when they went up against Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons, who torched them for 45 points. So what this tells me is that Matthew Stafford is going to be getting a lot of volume in a situation where he's going to be able to be efficient. He's been good this year facing a defense that, although it's maybe not as bad as perception, is still quite bad. So to me, this says I want a lot of Matthew Stafford. I want Golden Tate, Eric Ebron, Marvin Jones. Are you reading the tea leaves the same way here, Brandon?